What do you think of the second matchup with Baylor?
Well, I think it'll be a highly competitive, fun game. You work a long time to play in games like this, so I know they'll enjoy it. I certainly hope we enjoy it, and it's kind of like a reward of both teams doing well to be able to host game day and or them hosting game day on a game late in the conference season that has implications. So we'll be excited about it.
You guys have had some success in the bigger, more hyped games down there. Is there a common denominator that's made that go your way?
Probably not. The last time we did play down there, we got our butts handed to us. And the time before, we actually played really well and snuck one out. So when we were both, if they win that game, they're the number one team in the country. If we win that game, we probably move to number one. I think that's exactly what happened. So, and it kind of decided the league last 2 years ago, and then last year they were so much better than everybody in the league. It didn't have any league implications, but I don't think there's a common denominator. They've got really good guys, and we've got really good players, and it should be a fun game.
What worked on a pin game?
I think we did a good job on it. Even though Juan had him the majority of the time, we did a good job, and we did a good job on Flagler the first half. But I will be real candid with you. When you play guards like that are that good, a lot of times it becomes a make or miss game because he could make all the same shots Saturday that he missed the other day, or you could miss the same shots that you made in another game because they're both great shot makers. So, and the show that Flagler put on in Stillwater was about as impressive as anybody's done all year long, including our guy. And then Akinjo went through a game where he didn't make any shots, and then when the game was on the line, he makes two to win the game. So, they're both capable of Flagler, both capable of getting 30. I think it's pretty evident that they're both very capable of doing that.
There are a lot of guys on this team that's their last year in college basketball. One of them is Chris. Right now, he sort of gets the end of it. How do you feel about his career?
Chris Tehan, I think he's maximized his role on this team as much as anybody can. He's a folk hero on campus. He's I don't know if he's as popular as anybody on our team, but he's up there as far as one of the most popular guys on campus, on our team, excuse me. And I think he's found a way to put his handprint on what we do in a way that doesn't translate to playing minutes or making shots. So I've been really pleased with him. I think he's had a great career. Everybody should look at whoever you're trying to evaluate. Could be yourself, or it could be a teammate, or a player, or whoever, a family member. Evaluate what the potential is of that individual in the situation that they're in. And I'd say Chris Tehan has probably got against his ceiling about as high as anybody has. He's improved as a player. He's great in practice. Teammates love him. He's a team guy. He loves this place, and he's been able to be a great leader for us. And he's become obviously an important. I shouldn't say an important factor, but he's obviously become a very well-liked figure in our community and on our campus. So I'd say if you're going to grade him out, I'd give him a 10.
What do you remember about him as just a high school prospect actually getting him to come here?
It wasn't a hard deal. His brother played here, had a comparable career until his fifth year when he becomes basically our sixth man on a national runner-up team. Chris doesn't have the same opportunities Connor did from a playing time standpoint, but from an impact standpoint, they've been very similar. And their family is fantastic. They all love KU and great in the community. But we didn't ask Chris to come here because of what he did in high school. We asked him to come here because we believed in his brother. We believed in his family, and we know anything that having that quality around us would make us better, regardless of his play in high school. So,
What are the challenges of 4 games in 7 days?
8 days. Got to count Saturday twice. So I would say I think it's a challenge without question, but it's also the finish line too. So why can't guys get? I don't think it'll have any impact on the first game. And on Tuesday, we're both playing. And then we play the same team on Thursday that we play on Tuesday. So we both had the exact same schedule. So it'll be tiresome, with somebody like David who's got a sore foot. That's where it could become an issue. The question will be the fatigue, I think, on the last game. In the last game, when you can see the finish line, you can drum up enough adrenaline and energy to go ahead and complete it. So if we don't play well, that won't be the reason. I guess it could be partial reason if somebody were to get hurt, and you have a guy miss more games because of injury or David's foot, if we have to rest him, something like that. But at this point in time, we're not thinking like that.
What is his status? He was a little different.
He was from what he told me, that he didn't injure it, but he aggravated it or whatever at the very beginning of the game. And I wasn't very happy with him to start. He wasn't moving well at all. And then the more you watched him, he ran very awkwardly. He doesn't always have the smoothest run, but certainly it was more awkward the other night. So we don't know. We think he's fine, but he's got a foot that we've been known all along going through the season. We got to limit his reps and all that stuff. And it's late February. So he's exactly what we thought he would be right now. And hopefully if we can get through this next 4 games, that puts us in a position, even though the Big 12 tournament, you can't rest him, but if we have to rest him in the Big 12 tournament, we'll rest him. But we just want him as feeling as good as he possibly can, going into the NCAA tournament. And that's still very realistic, but he's sore right now. And you guys may not know this. He fell on his knee a couple of weeks ago, and that thing's giving him problems too, as far as swelling and stiffness and everything. But a lot of times Dave looks like an older man when he starts. The other night, he looked like an old man. As far as his movements, and he didn't tell me about it, but I asked him, and he said, "Yeah, I didn't have it today."
Are you guys running after makes more than regular?
Maybe the other day in the game,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't say no.
Okay. No,
We ride on our board every day. We're in speed game on every make. Which speed game means absolutely nothing except to plant a seed saying we want to get out quick and go score early. But so we don't have to play against 5-on-5 all the time. So it's just a thought process. It's not a technique deal. But I do think we're playing. We played a little faster the longer the season's gone on off makes, but I wouldn't consider that. That's what we're trying to do. Hey guys, when they score, get it out fast. Because what you're doing is you're emphasizing them scoring. So I wouldn't say we emphasize that.
We've been asking you about your 3 long athletic leagues throughout the year. Are they improving as a group? How big of an impact can they be for this team in March? Well,
what we're seeing is all 3 guys have improved tremendously since the start of the season. Oach started out hot, but Oach is a heck of a lot better now than he was in November or December. And you could say the same thing about Christian, and the guy that probably has improved the most in this 1 year is Jalen, from where he started to where he is now. But yeah, they're all doing well. They're not interchangeable parts defensively, but offensively, they're fairly much interchangeable parts. And, they all got their own deal that they do a little bit better than the other one. But I've been real pleased with all 3 of them. They've all gotten better.
when he's been asked about what changed for him or what clicked for him, Jalen, that is, Wilson. He basically says, I started playing for my team more and less about me and more about the team. Did he find that on his own? Was he nudged that way? I mean,
I don't think, I think Jalen's a really team guy first, but when you get kind of derailed a little bit like he did early and he came back, it was all team fitting in. I don't know if you remember in Orlando, didn't shoot the ball much. It didn't do that. And then, so you don't play the way you really think you can play. And then you start playing the way you think you can play and you're not playing well enough to play that way. And I think that created some confidence issues, but no, he's been great. But to me, when guys are really struggling, I usually tell them, if the media ever asks me again, from this point forward is when your stats start, or whatever. And I do think having the league in his mind was like a second season. His season was just starting, where I don't think Ochai thought that at all. I thought Ochai just thought it's continuation. But with Jalen, I think in his mind, I could be wrong. That was the end of the old, and now the new starts, and the new's all that really matters. So, because his stats in league play has been pretty impressive.
Do you ever do the math on what it takes to win the league? Coming up, when you could wrap it up? Or
Well, I know that we can tie if we win 2, and we can win it if we win 3. So, I mean, I know that, but I don't think that took anybody that majored in math, Gary, to figure that out. But yeah, I've actually known that since the K-State game that we had a shot to do that.
You mentioned Jalen's numbers in conference, like just as far as like the awards go, is that something you think should be voted on based on the conference numbers for at least the Big 12 awards, or is it the overall body award?
He asked the question before. We're not going to get 3 guys on first team guys. So get that out of your head. Okay. Be nice to get 2. All right. But get that out of your head. So I think too many times, if you look at the whole body of work, Trae Young should have been most valuable player in our league. If you look at Big 12 play, Devontae Graham should have been player of the year, and Devontae got it because our team won it. I think that I do think the league carries more weight, but you can't ignore the first 13 games as well. So Jalen Wilson will get votes. I mean, he'll be on an all league team, but I hope he's on first team. That means we would have got 3, but that's not going to happen. And nor do I really think it deserves to happen. There's too many good players here, but Jalen Wilson deserves to be on an all Big 12 team. But, he just started out so poorly. He shot 10% and 40% from the line for the first, 10 or 12 games. So we can't ignore that, although that won't be the emphasis. That'll carry 20% weight, where I would think league play would probably carry much more.
any change, Remy, Bobby? Remy and
No. Bobby for sure, no. And Remy, I haven't spoken with him since the K-State, since Tuesday night, but I do know that he's in getting treatment and all that stuff every day. And I would anticipate him practicing again today. But I just don't know what level or if he'll be able to go full go, but I anticipate him being out there. So I don't have an answer for you.
I know you mentioned on Hawk Talk the other night, like it takes time for him to kind of get back in the swing of things for Remy. Is there kind of like a drop dead date, or we need him back by now to have him in the rotation at some point?
I would say no, because if you make a statement like that, if Juan's got 3 fouls for the 2 fouls of the last 3 games in the first half, if I'm not mistaken. So even though he may not be what he could be, or if he was healthy, he still may be the best ball handler if the other team's pressing in a situation like that. So there's not a drop dead date on him helping our team, but I think it's getting close to be a date that I'll be more comfortable if I'm able to see him play before we get into postseason. Because if we don't do that, the thing about it is you can watch a kid play. Kid had practice, like Zach Clemens, for instance, is a great example. Zach Clemens, for instance, practices twice in 6 weeks. Well, we have to play him. We put him in, makes a shot. Well, you don't keep playing him in crunch time, even though I did in that one incident. You don't keep playing him just because he made that one shot. You'd like to see, that he's consistently doing well in all areas, just not because he made one shot. That would be how I'd feel about Remy. You put him out there and he's doing great. Guy, he got an assist. He did this, he did that. But you're going to set one on the bench when he's done all this all year long, and just to play what you hope to be a continuation of what just happened. That's where I think the coaching part comes in from trust standpoint. So he needs to get out there so we can see him doing good things. So we believe that he should be doing those good things at crunch time too.
Does home or away have anything to do with it? I know you said
No.
he'll be out there when he's ready, but
I would personally say no. To me, if it's we've got 2 home games left. We had 3. That was what I put on the board. Only 3. You can get pretty spoiled. Regardless of what anybody says. I mean, I spoke to a group Wednesday morning that had about 40 young adults in it from Iowa, on a business in a business kind of like a retreat. And I spoke to them briefly for a while. And I said, what? The crowd was great, wasn't it? They go, oh my gosh. I said, but you still haven't seen it when it was turned up. And they're like, what? And I said, no, I mean, when it's really turned up, you haven't seen it. And it can be better than that. That was their mindset. So the players are the same way. The players are so spoiled that they know, gosh, we only have 3 more. We only have 2 more. You would think playing at home would be incentive to get somebody out there. So I don't know if there's, with Remy's situation, I think he's grounded enough to say, I'm just going to do it when I'm ready. So.
Hey, Coach, you and Scott Drew have both dealt with injuries over the course of the year. I think 2 or 3 games.
What? I'm sorry, what? Injuries?
You and Scott Drew have both dealt with a lot of injuries. 3 games ago, he obviously didn't have Shama Chachua. Flagler didn't play. Cryer didn't play. How different is it from a game planning standpoint going into the game when okay, you're not going to have these 3 guys versus somebody gets hurt mid-game, somebody has a migraine an hour before a game, somebody gets 3 fouls in 3 minutes. If going into the game, you got 6 guys, how much easier is it to plan for that versus something that happens over the course of the game?
I actually think it probably is easier to plan for something if going into it what you're actually dealing with. I think the unknown is hard. I think to me, when a player is injured during a game, not only does that obviously affect the player, it also affects the team in a way that you see, one of your teammates or your partners go down. When it doesn't happen on a game day, it seems like to me, you have those same feelings, but you also have time to prep and prepare for him not being available. So to your point, I think it's actually probably easier knowing what you're dealing with. And Scott has dealt with some issues. If you can imagine us, if you're just going to talk about injuries, we had a Final Four team without Udoka Azubuike. We're the #1 team in the country another year when Udoka's season ends. I mean, so those are the type of players you can't replace. And to be real candid with you, the ones that have been dealing with injuries for Baylor are comparable type players. I mean, they're really, really good players. So I'm sure it's affected them. And I'm sure Scott's goal is we're going to be whole by the time it really counts the most. But they've had an unbelievable year considering they've been dealing with some stuff. No question.